welcome to another episode of Metal Mastermind. In this video, we're gonna talk about writing metal music in the key of E minor. Now, I know this may be considered like the typical metal key, especially if you're playing a 6-string guitar and you're in standard tuning. However, we're gonna dive a little bit deeper so that we can better understand the other chords and notes that naturally go with the key of E minor. And we're gonna show you some things to kind of think outside of that a little bit. And this is just gonna help you write better songs and better riffs. All right, we're going to dive right into this lesson. Now, we're demonstrating this on guitar, but one quick note here. This doesn't just apply to guitar. This applies to keyboard, to bass, to whatever instrument you're playing. These concepts apply. Well, maybe except for drums. But hey, if you're a drummer, hang around and share this with your band. It's going to help you guys write better music. Now, I'm going to take you through several progressions throughout this video. I'm going to show you some different things that you can do, some really simple ways that just really simplifies the songwriting process, and you can take these concepts and you can greatly expand on them. Now, the last progression we go over, that one's going to be really interesting. On that note, lastly, make sure you hang around to the end of the video. We've got a free guide that we want to give to you that's really going to take your songwriting to that next level and just help you along with the process. The first thing we need to understand are what are the notes and or chords that naturally go with this key of E minor. So let's figure those out real quick. Actually, I'm just going to draw them out for you. So let's write these out. As I'm writing these out, I'm going to also play it for you as well, okay? Okay, those are the chords, those are the notes that make up the key of E minor. So you'll notice that we're playing power chords here in this video, so I didn't put minors, but if we were playing full chords, this would be a minor, of course, the E minor. We've got an F sharp, we'd have a G, this A would actually be an A minor, this B would be a B minor, then you've got a C and the D. So those are major chords there. So these are the notes and or chords rather that naturally make up the key of E minor. Now, if you want to know how I got to this and how do I figure out why these go with E minor, we've actually got another video explaining what's called the circle of fifths. I'll go ahead and put it up there. You can watch that later. So definitely check that out. That will explain this entire process. And of course, you'll be able to apply that to really any key and figure it out quickly. Now, you heard me play all of these chords, all the power chords here, okay? So one thing I want to show you, actually two things I want to show you that's kind of interesting, especially on guitar here, are these notes here, this F sharp, okay? And also this B minor, or again, we're playing power chords, so just F sharp and B, the power chords there. So I want you to listen to how I play these this next time around. That's another way that you can play these power chords here. Just gives you a little bit different sound and different feel. And depending on what you're going for in the song, depending on what vibe you're going for, will determine if you use those chords that we just played. And all we're doing here to play these two chords, let me just kind of spell this out for you real quick. So the F sharp power chord, okay, the F sharp is going to be that F sharp, right? That's the first note that we play in that power chord. Your next note, which this is called an F sharp over D here. So that would be the next note you play in the power chord. How that translates to guitar is basically you're playing the power chord, but that second note that you play in that power chord, you're just going to move that finger, which in this case is probably going to be your pinky finger. You're going to move it up one fret. That's it, and that gives you that sound. The B, or B minor rather, but we're playing, remember, we're just playing a power chord, so we're playing the B power chord. That chord is basically a B over G. And like the F sharp over D that we played, all that translates to on guitar is just playing that power chord, right? Just a regular power chord, but that second note that you play is going to go up, okay? It's going to go up 1 fret, and that's going to give you that really cool sound. So one more time, our chords in the key of E minor, our chords and our notes here, okay, you've got an E, and I'm just writing these out as power chords, right? So you've got an E, F sharp, G, okay, you've got an A, B, C, and D, okay? That's our chords there in the key, or our notes rather, in the key of E minor. And that's what you would play for your power chords: E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D. Now, these aren't hard-coded rules, and we're going to talk about this in a second. That's actually going to be the last progression that we go over, but now I want to get into some progression. So let's just choose a very simple progression. I'm going to play an E, and then let's see, we'll play a C and a D, okay? So listen to this. Okay, pretty cool progression there, kind of typical, right? Kind of like a stock progression. And the power chords, I just played them a little differently. I don't like to play the same thing every time, so you know, if you want to kind of get into the technical and theory side of that, instead of playing the first and the fifth note for the power chord, I played the first and the third note. That's all I did with that C and that D. So what I want to do now, though, is we played that one way, and this is where we really get into songwriting and coming up with progressions and riffs. So we played E, C, D, okay? I want to turn this around, and I want to do something a little bit different, okay? Still in the key of E minor, but this time you don't always have to start with the E power chord to be in the key of E minor, right? The key is basically the notes and or the chords that are making up this key here. That's what that is, making up the E minor, okay? Hopefully that makes sense. As we go along, I think it'll make more sense. But this time I'm actually going to start with a D, and then let's see, let's go to a D, then let's go to an E power chord, then back to the C. Let's hear what that sounds like. Now you can take that concept and just start applying it to other notes that are within that key of E minor there that we talked about earlier, the E, the F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, and just change things around a little bit. Just work with those different chords and different notes, and you know, just kind of see what comes up as you're traveling through, right? Because this is all about like going on this journey of metal songwriting. Now remember earlier those really cool sounding power chords that we played, that F sharp over D and that B over G, where you kind of got that little stretchy thing going on with your pinky finger there. I want to go over a riff, or I want you to go over a riff and progression here using these chords. So let's see what we come up with. Alright, so that was pretty cool sounding. Now, what we did here, what's interesting about this is we started with the E. And again, to be technical, it's an E minor there, right? But we're playing power chords, so it doesn't matter. So those first two notes could be E, could be E minor. Now, real quick though, that does, the minor or major, what you're playing, does determine the chords that make up that key. So remember the video that I referred you to earlier. I'll leave a link to that in the description of this one as well if you want to go back and watch that, the circle of fifths. So anyway, we start out with that E power chord. We go here first, right? We went to that really cool sounding B over G, and then we went to a C, okay? So it's just like a little walk up there. You go B to C, the cool sounding B power chord to the C power chord. After that, that's the first part, the second part here, we went from E to the cool sounding F sharp power chord. Then we went up to that next natural note, or the next note that's in the progression there, that's in the key, right, which is a G. So E minor, little walk up, okay, B to C, cool sounding B to C. E minor, another little walk up just on that first string. Cool F sharp power chord going to G. So it just gives you, again, it just gives you a different flavor, if you will. Now, again, you don't have to do it this way. You could try playing these two together. Like try this, go to an E. I'm not going to play it for you, but just try it. Start out with the E, then play the cool sounding B over G, then go to the cool power chord F sharp over D. Try those back to back. That sounds really cool. Trust me. Pause the video and just get out and play it, okay? Now, the next thing I want to share with you here is, what if we didn't want to play these power chords the cool way that I'm talking about here? What if we wanted to just go, let me erase this real quick here, and I'll let you hear what this sounds like. What if we just wanted to go the E minor, okay? First time around, we'll just go to the B and C. Second time around, we'll go to the F sharp to G. My handwriting's getting messier by the second here, but let's hear what that sounds like. Okay, so that was pretty cool sounding as well. I mean, one doesn't necessarily sound better than the other. Again, it depends on the vibe you're going for. So, for example, let's just say you've got this like fantasy-driven power metal, symphonic metal. You might want to use that F sharp over D or the B over G there. You might want to use those chords. If you're going for more of that just really raw, edgy thrash metal sound, well, you might want to, use what we just played, just the regular B power chord and the regular F sharp power chord, because again, that just gives you a different vibe. And these are things that you want to think about as you're writing songs. What is the feel of this song? Like, what is the emotion behind it? What is the message behind it? What do you want the listener to feel when they hear this song? Alright, this last progression I want to share with you, this is where things get a little different and a little twisted, maybe even a little wicked. And hang around after this, because again, I've got something I want to share with you, the Metal Mastermind, that we are giving away to help you build your songwriting skills when it comes to metal, okay? So what I want you to hear is we're gonna play in the key of E minor here. I'm gonna play a progression, but there's gonna be one chord that doesn't fit any of these. Listen to this. So what we did is we integrated a B flat in this progression, okay? So this technically doesn't belong in the key of E minor, but remember in the beginning of this video, I said this is not hard-coded rules, okay? There are no rules in music, so I want you to understand that. And there's probably some terminology for this in the theory side of things. I'm not diving down that rabbit hole right now. That's something that we do get into at Metal Mastermind, and we'll talk about that in future videos and courses as well. We've actually got a music theory course coming out soon. But this technically doesn't belong in what I just showed you, right? However, it sounds just plain wicked and sinister. It just sounds cool. So listen to this one more time. I'll share the chord. I'll kind of point this out in what I'm about to play here. Again, doesn't fit on paper here or on the whiteboard, but we threw it in there anyway, and it changes the entire feel of the song. So now what I want to do is I want to play a similar progression, but I want to not play the B flat. I want to play another note, another chord that you're not going to see up here. Listen to this one. What we did this time is we put an F in here, okay? F doesn't go in this progression here. It goes from E to F sharp, not E, F, F sharp, or E, F, right? It goes E to F sharp. However, we put this chord in here, and I kind of put it at the end of the progression. If you notice, the progression is kind of melodic, kind of power metalish, but then at the end, on that tail end there, we throw this F in there, and that just really captivates the listener, kind of catches them off guard. It's like, oh wow, didn't hear that one coming, but it sounded really cool. So again, there are no hard-coded rules in music. There's only what sounds good, not only to you, but what's best for the song. And this is probably the most important thing to think about when it comes to writing metal or any style of music. You always want to do what's truly best for the song. So you have to think about where you're going with it. You have to think about, what you want your listener to feel. What is your intent and your message behind the song? What's the vibe? All right, 2 quick things before you go. Number 1, I hope this video helps you. I hope it truly helped you, and I hope you got a lot out of it. So on that note, let us know if you'd like for us to cover another key like we just did with the key of E minor. Let us know that in the comments, or if you have any other ideas, any things you would like to see here on Metal Mastermind. Secondly, I promised you a free guide. So there's a link in the description of this video. We have written up a free metal songwriting guide. So grab that, just click that link and you can download that. You'll also be part of our Metal Mastermind community here, which is really just an awesome family of metal musicians, us like-minded metal musicians here. So I want to welcome you to Metal Mastermind. Now, if you already have our free songwriting guide and you just want to go to that next level, I do have a link to our metal songwriting course called Metal Songwriters Forged. Now, if you're serious about songwriting, you definitely want to get into that. Ken Candelas and I, co-owner of Metal Mastermind, we worked night and day on this course, covering every aspect of songwriting, of metal songwriting, not just for guitar, but for the drum parts, the bass parts, for other instrumentation, the vocals, lyric writing, the whole 9 yards. So it's a very comprehensive course. So again, if you already have the free guide, go ahead and jump into that course. If you don't have that free guide, grab that first, and of course we'll tell you more about Metal Songwriters Forged after that as well. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to our channel, give it a thumbs up, and we'll see you on the next video.